Thinking about buying Toronto real estate? Watch this! Hey everyone, as I mentioned in my last video, this is a very exciting time in the Toronto and GTA real estate market. In fact, it is an exciting time for housing right across Canada. There have been days over the past 2 months when it looks like the federal government was focused on nothing but housing, announcing a host of new initiatives to expand the housing supply and fast. Most of the policy measures that we talked about in the last video, like the expansion of the RRSP limits that Canadians can withdraw upon purchase a home, the reduction in the GST tax rates for contractors building rental units, and the rezoning and regulatory adjustment recommended for municipalities. All these measures and more have been put in place to build more housing faster than we ever have in the past, to finish the construction yesterday if possible. That's the physical side of the market, the bricks and mortar, the windows and door of home construction, what some people call the real side of the market. But there is another side of the market too, the financial side, which is mainly about interest and mortgage rates and their impact on house prices. There were periods during and after the pandemic when the financial side of the market began to look like it was taking on a life of its own in what prices were growing so fast. The average cost of detached or semi-detached house in Toronto, for example, between February 2021 and February 2022 had increased by 21% in 1 year. As you may remember, when real estate prices spiked up in the run up to February 2022, the Bank of Canada began raising interest rates in the following month to help rein in those prices and dampen inflationary pressures in other sectors of the economy as well. Pressures that we see every day when we go to the supermarket, a building supply store, or a car dealership. The Bank of Canada began raising interest rates in March 2022 because house prices were rising so fast in Toronto, Vancouver, and elsewhere that they were concerned that further overheating of real estate market could lead to sharp correction later that could bankrupt many mortgage holders and cause instability in the financial sector generally. As a result, since March 2022, we have had a long series of increases in interest and mortgage rates that have brought Toronto prices back down close to where they were in February 2021. So, although the past 2 years have been painful for many mortgage holders and for economic growth generally, the Bank of Canada policy has worked in reducing inflationary pressures. And most analysts now believe that we will soon see declining interest rates, perhaps as soon as June, or if not in June, then shortly afterwards. So the next 12 to 18 months are going to be a very interesting time as we enter this new business cycle of the Toronto and the GTA real estate market. Part of the reason the market has been so quiet over the past year is that both buyers and sellers have been waiting to see when the market would turn. So if you're a buyer who has been waiting for 1 or even 2 years to enter the market, what is the best thing for you to do now that we are at the turning point in the market? Should you wait longer or buy now? Well, as most people know, there is a trade-off between interest and mortgage rates on one side and house prices on the other side. Unless there are new shocks to the economy that most analysts don't anticipate, we appear to be at the bottom of business cycle as far as house prices are concerned. But what about mortgage rates, you say? Well, if you get approval from a bank or mortgage broker for a 3 or 5 year fixed term mortgage, these medium term mortgage rates will already have the coming lower interest rates built into them, so you can buy now without having to wait for a short term rates to fall. Depending on your own situation, that could be a good scenario because you could have stable mortgage payments for 3 or even 5 years and at the same time buy a home while prices are still low at end of this 2-year period of high interest rate we just come through. As a realtor, it's not my role to advise you as to when you should buy. That's a decision for you to make on personal grounds in consultation with financial professionals, but it's very much my role to let you know that the Toronto and GTA real estate market is at a clear turning point as interest and mortgage rate establish a new business cycle. House prices are already beginning to rise again, and the forecast for the remainder of 2024 is for the modest price growth in the 10% range, with the forecast of double-digit price increases in 2025 as the market gathers steam after the relative quiet of the past 2 years. But another point that is too often overlooked when we discuss real estate prices in our region is that the market has been quiet recently and prices have declined, not because we reach a stable point between the real wants of buyers and sellers. No, the market has been quiet because of events in financial markets, more particularly because of interest rates. As soon the financial picture changes and interest and mortgage rates fall, it is soon to happen, the underlying real physical needs for increased housing in the Toronto region will once again assert themselves and prices will rise. Those physical realities, based largely on population growth and immigration numbers, do not lie, and they are not going away anytime soon. Perhaps the most fascinating insight to emerge from all the new housing policies announced by government recently is that all these measures taken together will in no way close the huge gap that exists between supply and demand in the housing market. Most analysts believe that in the near term, Canada is likely to build only half of the houses that the market needs, and some analysts argue that unless immigration numbers are seriously reduced, which is unlikely, we might only build 1/3 of the housing units needed. So a gap of 1/2 or even 2/3 between what is needed and what gets built is a huge shortage. Everyone involved in real estate in our region need to keep this insight before them. We live in a part of Canada with a profound shortage of housing. The big takeaway here is that investing in Toronto real estate, especially in detached and semi-detached homes, is a secure investment for the foreseeable future. Owning a home in a market of serious undersupply is a very good place to be, an enviable place to be. Bubble effects, when they arise, are largely a product of financial matters interacting with this lack of supply. These effects can be serious for anyone carrying a lot of debt, and they are not to be taken lightly. But the underlying physical shortage of housing in the GTA speaks to the inherent value of home ownership here. Therefore, until we see lasting changes in our productive capacity to build houses, the trend line in real estate prices in the GTA is going to be upwards. There is nothing mysterious about this. This is the most elementary of economic laws. A lack of supplies lead to higher prices. Higher interest rate can slow down price increases, as the last 2 years have shown us, but as soon as rates fall, the underlying physical supply and demand conditions reset themselves, and bearing unforeseen macroeconomic shocks, market prices will naturally rise. At some point, affordability issue will slow these price rises, but it's difficult to say at what average price level this will occur. Anyway, at current prices, there is certain room for upward movement, which is what we are beginning to see. No one can deny the importance of financial calculation in determining when to buy a home. But as you work your financial plans with your real estate and mortgage team, it is also helpful to keep in mind the long-term value of home ownership in such a fast-growing region as the GTA. We all know that home ownership is a deep value in Canadian society. In the Toronto region, this cherished value is also a secure investment in your family's future. Whether you're buying, selling, or just love exploring real estate options in Toronto, I've got plenty more to share. Feel free to contact me directly or schedule a call using the Calendly link in the description below. Remember to subscribe, and let's navigate the Toronto real estate market together. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.